Happy Thursday, 11 January 2024. As of filming this, I am Tanis Leonhardi. It's my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. And yesterday I did a 5 pages per day reading notes video approach. And so today I'm doing a 10 pages per day video reading approach. For the same book, it's The Race of the Century, The Battle to Break the 4-Minute Mile by Neal Bascomb. And March 2022, first edition hardcover. And I put the book information in the video description. So I picked up today where I left off yesterday. So this approach is different than a pages per video because I'm not allowed to read the book for the rest of the day. It's stopping here, and I'm doing a short increment, 10 pages, to see how it goes compared to yesterday. But first, we have snow. So I'm going to show you the snow. See? It's falling. Look at all those juncos. Look at them all. They are hungry and cold. Look at how fast they're going through their food and the feeder. Yeah. Anyway, I thought I would share that since it's continuing to snow. It's snowing, saying, oh, there's some big flakes out there. Okay, anyway, what are my notes? So, I'll do reading notes again. Let's see, so picking up from last time, that's pages in 10 pages, I read page 6 through, so starting at the top of page 6 to the end of page 15. And both were, the start was mid-sentence and the end was mid-sentence, which is kind of, in some ways, fun to read because I'm like that. And I have to kind of remember what I read in the last segment. So this, it was a section of the book that continued to fill in background and about Roger Bannister, the English guy, born and raised and went to school in England and lived in England and stuff like that. Including he was born in 1929, a little bit about his family, and I think he was lived in London. And then, let's see, they had to evacuate because of the bombings during World War II of European cities. Or this one is specific. There's a specific term for the bombings on cities of England. And so it talks about an experience they had where they were not bombed, but they could feel something. And it impacted the structure in which he and his family were located. And then he went on to college. Exeter College, Oxford. I don't know if that's part of Oxford University, like a college within a university. Some schools have that structure, or if that's institution separate from Oxford University. I don't know. It does not clarify that. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means. But then it later talks about competing for Oxford in a 1-mile run race contested between Oxford and Cambridge, and it refers to competing for Oxford as his university, so I'm guessing that Exeter College is was part of Oxford University, since it refers to Oxford as his university. But, okay, is Oxford University private? And okay, I'm a public school kid, like all of it, including higher education, at least currently. But I don't remember about Oxford. And then, so it provides some context about he dropped 40 seconds from his first 1-mile run time. I have not actually contested the 1-mile run for time in competition ever. Fun fact about me, Tanis Leonhardi. And then it goes on, and the author finally gets to Helsinki Olympics, 19 1952 Helsinki Olympics. But that's actually they bring that up in reference. So okay, they tie that up. They kind of talk about a little bit of his running history, but like very briefly, because this is only 10 pages, and 5 pages of which were about Roger Bannister. So the kind of pages 6 through 10, and then they talk about like arriving in Helsinki and preparations for Helsinki. So that's the Roger Bannister part. It's kind of the summary and a little bit of my take, right? And trying to contextualize that as I'm reading it, I'm going, a little bit of clarity, like the, you know, kind of like Exeter College, Oxford University would have been a little bit more helpful, right? I would be focusing more on the story if it wasn't like, what does this mean, right? Like kind of, so more clarity would help to, in absorbing the story more, right? The fleshing it out as opposed to stripping it down, and losing some of that detail that makes it stick. Right, because this isn't, what sticks is that this is unclear, right? The author is not making themselves known very well, as opposed to it sticks where he went to school. You know, like, right, I'm guessing the author in writing the book wants people to remember what's in the book, not for the mistakes or lack of clarity, that kind of thing. So when I note to self in writing, right, to myself is, clarity is good because don't want people focusing on my mistakes, although that's okay, but like if I can't get rid of a mistake, maybe use it to my advantage. But all right, there's clarity is, I would have appreciated clarity there, so it's something I should think about with my own writing. Okay, and then page 11, so 11 through 15, the author introduces a new guy, an American, and starts to provide context about him. Santee, Santee. Does it say the first name? Wes. Okay. It did not pop. And it talks about the Helsinki Olympic Games. So I think the author's trying to, instead of like copying the same structure they did for Roger Bannister and introducing his career, trying to like introduce it in relation to the Olympic Games, like kind of at the Olympic Games, whereas when Roger Bannister was introduced, it was like lead up to the Olympic Games. So, see what they're doing there? They're like, because it's not a biography of one person, it's like a staggered start approach. As a runner, I have competed in competition, not in the 1 mile run, but like it's a staggered start approach, right? Where like essentially this person's picking up on the Roger Bannister was like the preparations, and then Wes Santee is like, okay, we're at the games. So instead of replicating the same lead up and then having to do that each time, it's like, all right, here's the next person and introducing them, but let's pick up where we left off with the last one. Kind of, so of a storyline progression while trying to introduce new characters and their background. Okay, and so it provides context a little bit about at the Helsinki 1952 Olympic Games, but also it does that, and then it kind of goes backtracks a little bit to the background of this guy, which is country kid from Kansas with an abusive father and a lot of cattle in his upbringing. And then towards the end of it, they bring up the Amateur Athletic Union Championships. Yeah, it's not as fluid as the introduction for Roger Bannister. Reading it, so that's kind of what it is. It's a little bit more flowery in language than the introduction for Roger Bannister. And like it brings up like freedom and native speed and like stuff like that, and which is like the author lives in Philadelphia, which is a city in the United States of America. So I'm like, maybe it's just the author being very like, this is the American, and so let's use all of the strong words, but then the expense of the strong words is the loss of the meaning from, I'm reading this as a runner's perspective, right? So for some people, they might be like, that's all I wanted to hear, that this person is about running for like freedom. And like, for me, I'm like, I really liked that tidbit about the 3/4 mile from, you know, not the first pages 1 through 5 about Roger Bannister when he was introduced. Right, so like, as a runner, I'm reading this and I'm going, this isn't very helpful. It's more like somebody's a little bit triggered or wants to bring up the abuse but doesn't really know what an abusive relationship or dynamic is like, or how it actually weaves into a person's life story. Like, it's like the author's bringing it up, but they don't understand the meaning fully, and it comes across rather clearly in the writing, if that makes sense, right? Like, they can make guesses, and they can say this and this and this and this, but whether their guess is right or not, the writing is not, it doesn't come across as concrete, right? Is the last guy. So that's just a note, right? These are reading notes. It was going well with Roger Bannister, and then we hit Wes Santee, and it's kind of like missing a fluid element. And maybe it just hasn't got there yet, right? But I have, right, yesterday's notes video was pages 1 through 5, which was all Roger Bannister. And so the first half of this 10-page reading segment was 6 to 10 was Roger Bannister, and then 11 through 15 Wes Santee. And I guess I'm saying the 11 through 15 today compared to yesterday's 1 through 5. And I'll link to should I link to that video? I'll link to the playlist, Lucky Wallaby Courier, my book/reading notes, and then my book and movie list, movie and book list playlist, because this was on there. And I lost my bookmark, which is the Stranger Things thing from the Egos box, the collectible. From the Egos box. It's Stranger Things. It's like it's a TV show. Okay. These days. And so I'm saying, and I'll link to yesterday's video in the video description as well, if I'm feeling ambitious and remember. Okay, I can be forgetful at times. These 5 pages about this person are not as well done as the 5 pages introducing Roger Bannister. So let's not use the word first, let's say introducing. The introducing pages, the corresponding, it's not working so well with Wes Santee. And maybe Wes Santee is the author's favorite, and it has impacted the writing style. I don't know these things. These are my reading notes for today, and no more reading for me today. We'll see if I do this again tomorrow, and if I do, how many pages I do. I don't know. Trying a different length of pages, and that coincidentally worked out just fine and dandy. 5 pages for one runner, Roger Bannister, and 5 pages for another runner, Wes Santee. Names I'm learning and trying to remember. Hey, happy notes today, Thursday, 11 January 2024. I'm Tanis Leonhardi. It's my YouTube channel, Tanis Leonhardi. This is Kona Dog. And this is the snow. Look at those juncos. You guys get your bellies full. Woo woo.